Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here with a video on leveling from 80 to 90. With Endwalker out and a total of 18 combat jobs leveled to 90, thanks Summoner and Scholar for the bundle package, people are looking for more ideal methods of leveling multiple jobs up to 90. I've taken the time to do pretty much every method I can think of, so I'm going to rate the various methods and let you know what their efficiency actually is. Oh, and obviously, Endwalker main scenario quests are for your first job, so I'm not going to be talking about those here. Anyway, let's get started. Oh, and I almost forgot, there are going to be bits and pieces of footage that are from various parts of Endwalker, so if you haven't gotten to really play it yet, and you don't want to have any spoilers at all, I'd recommend just minimizing the video. Towards the end of the video, I'll say, take care, and when you hear that, you'll know it's safe to turn the video off. So consider this your warning. I'll give you another 10-20 seconds, and then I'll start filtering in the footage that I want to use. First up, dungeons. This is probably the method most of you think of when you think of ways to level, and fortunately, I waited until after 6.01 to do this video. The reason I say that is because, well, when Endwalker released, dungeons were fine. They were the same pace and efficiency as they were in every other expansion when they released, but there's a lot of really good methods for leveling right now, so I saw people kind of start to shift away from doing a lot of dungeons to level. However, in patch 6.01, they massively buffed EXP from dungeons, so now, with or without a pre-made, it is way more effective than it was even just a couple weeks ago. The level 87 dungeon, I ran a test. I looked at my numbers from before, when it was unbuffed with rested EXP, and then compared it to the level 87 dungeon with rested EXP after the change, so same condition, just the patch between the two, and it was a 66% buff. And that value isn't constant across all the dungeons, but it just goes to show you how much better it really is. So with rested XP, it's just about 2 dungeons to gain a level, maybe the first boss of a 3rd dungeon, and that's really quick. If you have a pre-made doing it in like, 18, 20 minutes, you're looking at like 6 to 7 total hours to go from 81 to 90. You just need something else to filter in 80 to 81, and there's plenty of options for that anyway. Even with trusts, where it takes like 25 to 27 minutes a dungeon, you're looking at 9 to 10 hours for 80 to 90 or 81 to 90, and that's also really, really good. Now second, we have Fates. Now Fate leveling is nothing new to 14, but its history is a rough one. A lot of the time it's like it's okay, but it's not good enough, and I don't really have a good enough reason to do it. But right now, they're really popular. Endwalker added some long-term gemstone voucher goals where you can spend gemstones to get vouchers to buy a mount or to get some angel wings, and hopefully they add to this in the future to keep them, I guess, desired. And that's keeping a lot of people doing Fates, and Fates as an EXP source are also just pretty solid across the board. A super efficient group can level in like 40 to 45 minutes per one level. And if you're doing it kind of more casually, I'd still say about a level an hour is a decent expected pace. If you take like a break, walk away, use the restroom, you should be fine. Just look in the party finder for a group and follow their lead. And if you don't want to do that, they're actually great when waiting for queues for dungeons. So you don't even have to do trust. If you just want to do dungeons the normal way, hit some fates along the way, get some gemstones, raise that shared fate ranking and all that stuff. It's better than sitting around and waiting. Now third are roulettes. Now we get into kind of the more once a week, once a day kind of things from this point on. So roulettes are once a day, obviously, and you're super familiar with these, no doubt. Leveling roulette, alliance roulette, maybe MSQ roulette if you don't mind sitting through that, all worth giant chunks of EXP for their time. And trial and normal roulette, they can be worthwhile if they're fast. I also just avoid 50, 60, 70, 80 when it comes to leveling. Again, it's okay if it's fast, but compared to the other ones, I'm not a huge fan. A big thing though, do not sleep on the frontline roulette, because that is a serious EXP gain. And with a new feature coming up in 6.1, series, which are basically like game passes, you don't pay any real money for them, but they function kind of similar like a game pass. You're probably going to want to knock out some series progress with frontline roulette and level all at the same time. It's going to be awesome. So this roulette, totally worth your time. All the roulettes, totally worth your time. Number 4 are your daily hunts. Now, like dungeons, this was actually buffed and is a decent distraction from the usual level grind. You will need your hunt unlocked from your Grand Company. You'll need Second Lieutenant to do that, and that's all the way back in a Realm Reborn content. but this basically just gives you a list of monster objectives once a day. You fly around all the zones and you kill them, and you reap a few rewards. You get some EXP, some gil, and some hunt currency, which you can spend on materia or anything else that's available at the time. It's not like it's a crazy fast leveling method, especially being it's a daily, but if you're already doing something like Fates, or even if you just want to mix things up a little bit, definitely give the Junior, Associate, and Senior marks in Endwalker a look on the daily. Number 5, side quests. Oh boy, do not look at my minimap for this one. I just don't do them unless I know I'm going to get something particular out of them. There's usually some pretty interesting side stories and stuff, and I usually learn about that through my friends, but in terms of EXP, they are good. I just don't do them because I don't want to. You can level a whole nother job with the side quests in Endwalker, and on top of that, you might pick up some gear or some materia, a little bit of gil here or there. So if you just hate having your map lit up and you don't want to see it like that anymore, you know, hop on a job you need leveled and get them all done. You do, of course, still have Wondrous Tales as well. You can do this book once a week over in Idleshire, and it'll be worth half a level, no matter what level you are. So if you want to use it from 80 to 90, you are more than welcome to. On top of that, you might get some decent rewards out of it, whether it be tomestones, maps coming up for the Excitotron 6000, or if you're lucky and you get those gold certificates, there's a mount from that. And of course, there's always raiders looking to get those pentamelded crafted bodies once crafted gear comes out. So definitely give Wondrous Tales a shot every week. Okay, and the last one for this video is Save the Queen content. Yeah, I know you're thinking I'm full of it, and much to my displeasure, Save the Queen content is still really good for leveling from 80 to 90. The EXP doesn't keep scaling after level 80. It's just the level 80 EXP values are so good you can just keep leveling in the Bozja content. Now, I do have to break this down into two different things. On one hand, you have Zadnor. Most people think Zadnor is the better zone. They'll go to there, they'll semi-AFK in Zone 3, and they'll hit any skirmishes or critical engagements that spawn, and then usually ignore the Dalriada. Doing this is fine. You know, it'll get you from 80 to 90 in like 9 to 10 hours. That's pretty on pace with some of the other options I've given you. Solid Netflix and level kind of option. Now, the Bozjan Southern Front, on the other hand, is still one of the best, if not the best leveling method as of 6.01 from 80 to 90, when it strictly comes to speed. Now, your goal in the Southern Front is to teleport all around the map, hit as many skirmishes as possible in as short a time as possible, just enough to get gold, and then immediately head to the next one. To that end, Essence of the Breathtaker to give you movement speed, the Riding Map to give you movement speed, Lost Swift or Lost Impetus to give you movement speed while you're in combat so you can quickly get away from skirmishes that you're done with, and a Lost Action such as Rampage or Burst, which are these big AoEs that have no fall off damage, really good for getting credit on skirmishes, or if you have it, Flare Star. Those are all really good options. Now, if you want to go really hardcore, throw some lodestones in there so you can quickly teleport back to base to get around the map faster. Potion kits for survival, which are great with Essence of the Breathtaker. I did 80 to 90 in 6 hours or less for the like 2 or 3 jobs I did this on. It's what I like to call sweaty work. You're constantly looking at the map and running around and trying to optimize where you're going to go with who. And you don't even need a full party to do this. Even if you just have 1 or 2 other people, you're going to get a lot of success out of this. Just don't even do critical engagements. Just skirmish, 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 skirmish as fast as you possibly can. Now, that being said, I don't personally recommend this as someone who's leveled 3 jobs with it already. A, not everyone has enough progress to get all the things that make this faster in the first place. Some of you probably don't even have it unlocked, which means you'd have to go do all the 24-mans from Stormblood, go through all those quests, and while I do recommend doing that, you're probably going to want to rush through to get to this, and I'd rather you take it slow and enjoy that content for what it is and how it fits into the Final Fantasy XIV story. And B, probably the more important thing, it's very narrow in its goal for leveling. You know, dungeons, you can get some new glams, you can get the minion from the last boss, or a triple triad card, or maybe an orchestrion roll. Maybe you want to desynth the gear so you can level your desynth, maybe sell it, make some money. Fates, you can get some gemstones, which you can use to get crafted materials, or those gemstone vouchers to make gil. Roulettes, you know, maybe you get bonus materia, or maybe you just want some variety in your leveling. Bozja, just for speed. And maybe some metal, if you haven't ranked that up yet. Again, I've done it for a few jobs, and I'm telling you it's an option, but enter at your own peril. At most, if you want to give it a try, do it through like the early 80s. Like 80 to 83 takes like 90 minutes if you're doing it pretty quick. But from 85 up, those dungeon buffs in 6.01 might mean that mixing Bozja for the first few levels and then swapping the dungeons for the later half might be a combined fastest method. So those are all your options, and to think, you are going to get more leveling options if you don't want to level your jobs right now. We don't have Beast Tribe quests. We normally get something like a deep dungeon or an exploration zone. They make buffs to things later on. So this is going to get faster. If you don't want to level things now, don't feel pressured to. It's going to get easier over time. But if you want to now, there are a lot of really good options for leveling, more than I feel like we have at the start of any expansion, especially because we've gotten those buffs already in 6.01. So if you want to go nuts, go nuts. You'll probably get your jobs leveled faster than you think you will. And with that, that's going to be a wrap for my video on leveling from 80 to 90. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of Endwalker videos on the channel, as expected. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one, and until then, take care.